So welcome back to a new simulation. This simulation is a PIC-based 7-segment display and switches circuit. On this simulation we have our PIC16F84A microcontroller. Here it is here. We have our 4 switches. These are the same 4 switches we had in our previous simulation, which was to do with LEDs and switches. We have 4 resistors, and the 4 resistors of course are tied up here to a DC power supply of 5 volts. We have test points 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this part of the circuit, which is wired down here using these 4 lines to port A of the PIC microcontroller, is completely unchanged. We have our 5 volts, our pull-up resistor R5, which is also wired into port A. So this whole top part of the circuit is the same as your previous simulation. So what you can do is you can open your previous simulation, you can save it under a new name, maybe save it as PIC-based display and switches circuit or some other appropriate name, and you will just delete out your LEDs. You can leave the resistors that we had in. Here are the same resistors, R6 up as far as R13. Leave the test points. Here are the test points that we had in our previous circuit. And we can leave one LED, which is down here, and this LED is going to be just a simple red LED. I want you to attach this 7-segment display, and I want you to wire it as shown in this circuit diagram to port B of the PIC microcontroller. And what we're going to do is, once you have your circuit built, we're going to test this particular simulation, and we have 2 test programs, Proteus 7-segment hex and Proteus 7-segment switches hex, and I'll show you both of those simulations in this video. Okay, so really what you need to do is you need to open up your previous simulation, save it under a new name, and then go over here to parts. And what you're looking for is you're looking for this 7-segment common cathode. So if you type that name in here, you will find it, okay? So type that name that I've highlighted in blue here in the keywords, and you'll find your 7-segment display. You should already have your red LEDs, your PIC16F84, your pull-up resistors, your ordinary resistors, and your switches on your design sheet. Okay? So the only one you need to get is this 7-segment common cathode. Okay? So we'll type that in. Now, sorry, that should be capitals. So again, optoelectronics coming in here. 7-segment common cathode. Can we find it over here? There it is there. So what you can do is, even by typing a little few words of it, or letters of the name, you'll be able to find it. So that's it, and click OK. And you can add that to your parts over here. Okay, so that's how you find that part. When you've got that part wired up correctly as shown here, and again I've given you a bitmap circuit diagram for you to examine and look at, what we do is we right click here, we edit the properties, and we're going to attach 2 test files. Now once again we have to go into the correct folder. So if I click here, and then go to my computer, and then look at the C drive, and then you go down here to Proteus Boost C7 programs. Here we are. So there's a folder somewhere on your hard disk of your machine, and in that folder, Proteus Boost C7 programs, you'll find the debug folder, so that's a subfolder. And what we're looking for now is 7-segment display programs. Here's Proteus 7-segment. We're going to take that program and we're going to attach it to our simulation by highlighting it, click open, click OK, and now that program is actually attached in here. We're going to simulate this circuit and see what happens. If I press play now down here, what should happen is I should see this 7-segment display beginning to count. So let's press play and see what happens. So our circuit is simulating is counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So over and over again, your 7-segment display should count the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I will ask you to amend the program or change the program to get it to do a different count. But your basic test to make sure that your circuit is simulating properly is to see if that is actually happening. Okay, so that was our first test program for this particular PIC-based display and switches circuit. We'll look at the second test program in a later video. Thanks for listening.